Good morning. My name is Bob Gordon, and I'm a very happy member of this congregation. Please take your seats, turn off your cell phones all the way off, please, and greet each other for a moment. All right. The moment has passed. Welcome to the Golden Gate Center for Spiritual Living. We honor you wherever you are in your spiritual path and know that there is something wonderful for each and every one of you here this morning. I have something to read that I think is very interesting and has to do with creativity. Time is an invention. Now is a reality. So much creativity is happening for the simple reason that we have withdrawn ourselves from past and future. Our whole energy remains blocked either in the past or in the future. When you withdraw all your energy from past and future, a tremendous explosion happens. That explosion is creativity.
Amen.
All right. Bodie will lead us in our morning chant, followed by the words of the spiritual mind treatment offered by our esteemed Reverend Judith Fleeter, to take each of us deeply into our own centers.
Good morning. So the word, I think, I'm not supposed to give it away yet, but it's something about receiving. And so for me, nature is where I receive a lot of my inspiration and my nourishment. So a lot of the songs that we'll be singing this morning are about nature. And this one's called I Am the Music. And so I'll sing it, and you can follow like a call and response kind of thing, and you'll pick it up after a couple times around. I am the music, I am the mountain, I am the water flowing from the fountain. I am the music, I am the mountain, I am the water flowing from the fountain. I am a crystal, I am a starfire, I am a voice in the elemental choir. I am a crystal, I am a starfire, I am a voice in the elemental choir. I am the music, I am the mountain, I am the water flowing from the fountain. I am the music, I am the mountain, I am the water flowing from the fountain. I am a crystal, I am a starfire, I am a voice in the elemental choir. I am a crystal, I am a starfire, I am a voice in the elemental choir. I am the music, I am the music, I am the mountain, I am the water flowing from the fountain. I am the music, I am the mountain, I am the water flowing from the fountain. I am a crystal, I am a starfire, I am a voice in the elemental choir. I am a crystal, I am a starfire, I am a voice in the elemental choir. I am the music, I am the mountain, I am the water flowing from the fountain. I am the music, I am the mountain, I am the water flowing from the fountain, flowing from the fountain, flowing from the fountain.
So staying in this lovely energy. It is my joy to welcome you here to Golden Gate Center today on behalf of our senior minister, Reverend Carol Huntley, who is in the beautiful land of Scotland today. And so we send that beautiful energy of Celtic love her way as we enjoy this time together as community. And I invite you to get into whatever position works for you, to go into prayer, and to remember that this is the divine moment and the center and the circumference of all time and space. And so standing here in that knowing, and knowing that right here and right now, the fullness of my entire life is present. That there is this divine power and energy of light and love and creative energy. I choose to call it God, but it goes by many names around this beautiful planet of ours. Whatever you call it, it is constant, it is present, it is there in your heart. And in the heart that beats next to you, and in the heart that beats across the world. So knowing that it is my heart that beats the divine beat of all creation, I stand in this presence right here and right now and claim this time together good. That as we listen to the music and feel the beat in our soul, that we are inspired to listen more deeply to the words of our beloved Reverend Sarah Hargrave. And knowing that there will be some moment of inspiration, a moment of clarity that allows each and every person in this room to feel that they are ready to receive. That there is no longer any blocking of the good that God has meant for you. Whether that be good of health and healing or relationship or love, or just a sense of calm and peace. That through the power and the presence of the divine here in this moment, through the sharing with each other, through meeting a new friend today, or laughing at the barbecue afterwards and enjoying a tummy full of food. Whatever it is that lightens the heart and reminds us that today is a day of God. This is what I call forth, for I know that in the light and love of God, there is nothing left to do but ask and say thank you and live in a heart of gratitude. And so I just give grateful thanks and I let it be. And so it is. And so now I'm going to have Bodhi introduce the band. As you can see, we have a few extra members today of the Golden Gate Center musical team.
Oh, it's just the usual suspects. You guys might know Rick Walt on the bass. You might know Stephen Meese on the guitar. But something that you don't know is that today, in fact, the whole reason we brought the band together today is so that Paul Chico could share his new drum set. Isn't that pretty?
Oh, by the way.
This song about summer. Anybody enjoying the summer? Yeah. I mean, like, I think it's the first time in my life I've really relaxed into summer. I'm a winter baby. I love the cold and the fog, and this year I let myself enjoy the summer. It's been kind of nice. You know, relax like Tom Sawyer used to do and Huck Finn. Hang out in the water and pick fruit. 2, 3, 4. Late days of summer are good for my soul. The flowers on the mountain, the circle is whole. Cycles in circles, the seasons go round. Each new beginning, potential unbound. In the late days of summer, late days of summer, late days of summer in California. The water is smooth, soft on my skin. The sunlight is warm, it soaks right in. The fish are jumping, flies buzz in the air. I wish this peace to everyone everywhere. In the late days of summer, late days of summer, late days of summer in California. All life blooms when conditions are right. The balance of nature, the dark and the light. Grace unfolding in its own sweet time. The freedom of chaos and the comfort of rhyme. All summer days must come to an end. Make the most of your time with lovers and friends. There will come a time to let it all go, to drop everything and rest in the flow. In the late days of
late days of summer, late days of summer in California. Oh, the late days of summer, the late days of summer, late days of summer in California.
Yeah, late days of summer.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bodie and team. Late days of summer. We're here. Carol's on her last vacation of the summer. There's a few times left, but I want to point your attention to our altar, because our altar today represents opulence, gold, abundance. And whether it be at the late days of summer, where here in Marin we have this golden color on our hills, or in the early bloom of fall, abundance is always surrounding you. Your good is always there. And one of the ways that we always start our service is with a little bit of gratitude about that good. And today we are in gratitude for just being able to sit here in these chairs, right? Be able to be here in this community. And this room didn't look like this a little while earlier today. When you first came in, there weren't these tables, there wasn't an altar, there wasn't music, there wasn't a sound system, there weren't chairs. All that magically happens before you get here. And there's someone we'd like to acknowledge today, and I'm looking around. Pat Sandry, where are you? Is she back in the kitchen? There she is. Pat is in charge of, say standing Pat. We would like to acknowledge Pat Sandry for her work coordinating all the Sunday service teams that put all of this together today. So today we are in gratitude for Pat and her team. And now is the time when we usually bless our children, but they're enjoying the late days of summer. So we have one representative child up here that is giggling. Let's see our lovely baby smiling. And we are going to bless her on her way, that she's probably not going to get the normal spiritual lesson because she's too tiny. But we know that it is sinking in at this very young age. And we hope all the other children are enjoying their last week before school. Speaking of school, did you know that it's not only the kids that can start school in the fall? You can start your continuous life learning time through the education department right here at Golden Gate Center. And this table right over here will be where you can find out various opportunities about various classes that are going on. The one that is probably the primary one that starts in the fall often is our foundations class. If you're new to religious science and you want to know what this is all about, you can come and sign up for a 10-week class that I guarantee you will change your life. It allows you to look into your own spiritual beliefs, into your own core, and reclaim that which is most true to you. But if 10 weeks is a little too much to bite off and chew right at once, next Sunday, you have an opportunity to do Quick Start, which is 3 hours. So 10 weeks, 3 hours, either one. So if you'd like to do Quick Start, that'll be just following church at our Learning Center in San Rafael. And again, you can sign up for all these courses right here. If you've been around for a while, there's a new course that's going to be starting called Speak Your Word. And there's one called Spiritual Practices. So the teachers is the teacher for Spiritual Practices here? Would you like to stand? Okay, that's why they're not announcing. And Speak Your Word is also starting. Now, for those of you that aren't quite ready for summer to end, we have two opportunities. One is right after service. You don't have to go anywhere, but stay right here. We're having a barbecue or a picnic in the back, and everyone is invited, so please come to the Golden Gate Center picnic right in our own very courtyard and enjoy the rest of summer. And if you are a single person and you would like to mingle with other singles, next weekend there is a spiritual singles potluck on the 24th, Saturday night at 7 p.m. And Ellie, will you stand just so all the singles can see you? This is Ellie, and wave at the online people too, because we welcome people from online that haven't gotten out of bed yet. You can still go to the singles potluck as well. See Ellie or look into your green bulletin here for how to find out more information. If there's other things you want to know about Golden Gate Center, remember that the bulletin always has links to where you find that information. Also our website. If you haven't already done that, sign up for Reverend Carol's weekly newsletter or join our Facebook page. So whatever your means of connecting, we've got it for you. So now, without further ado, I would like to invite or tell you who's speaking today. And actually, I'm looking at notes here, but I really don't need the notes. Because Reverend Sarah Hargrave has been in our community for as long as I have, and that's over 20 years. And I know Reverend Sarah Hargrave from when I worked down in Silicon Valley, because Reverend Sarah Hargrave does work out in the world in business and with individuals, and she holds breakfasts in several cities every month. And I met her at the Palo Alto breakfast, which I would get up at 7 o'clock in the morning once a month and go down and have conversation with other industry executives on spiritual topics to start our day. So she has this rare combination of experience as a former corporate executive, she's an entrepreneur, and an ordained minister. And she brings all that together in her practice of teaching and consulting and opening the hearts, especially around the area of money. Does anybody have an interest in opening your heart or your wallet to money? This is one of the things she does today. She has a course called Money Beliefs in You, which she was teaching at Asilomar. You know, Carol talked about Asilomar a few weeks ago. And she was one of the featured presenters at Asilomar on the topic of money, beliefs, and you. She has this ministry without walls. That means wherever she is ministering, whether that be in a boardroom or right here at the front of the room here. She uses her practice in her daily life, and she counsels with executives and those that are upwardly mobile in the community. And it is our good fortune to have her here today and talking about and asking you the question, are you turning away your good? Please help me give a Golden Gate welcome to Reverend Sarah Hargraves.
Thank you, Judith. Is the mic fine? So obviously my topic is, are you turning away your good? And that might seem like a very odd topic, because after all, why would anyone want to turn away their good that's beginning to flow into your life? And if they did turn away their good, how would they do it and why? So I'm going to tell you that. I'm also going to tell you a couple of stories and let you in on the two biggest barriers to accepting your good. You ready? Okay. We start with a quote from Ernest Holmes. He's the author of the book, The Science of Mind, and founder of this philosophy. He says, it's right that we should be successful, for otherwise the spirit is not expressed. The divine cannot lack for anything, and we should not lack for anything that makes life worthwhile here on earth. He's saying that our good is anything that makes our life worthwhile here on earth. And I liked that quote so much that you'll find it in your bulletin today under the Holmes quote. I wanted you to take it home and savor it. Our good comes to us in many forms, but today I'll be focusing more on the form of financial abundance and success, and being open to receiving our good. So receiving is the word for today, and we have to be open and willing to receive in order for the good to flow into our lives. And we also need to recognize and let go of any barriers that might be in the way of receiving our good. My first story is about Joan. She was a student at the Wellness and Massage Training Institute in Chicago, where I was an adjunct faculty member for 14 years. And I enjoyed teaching there because students there were very giving. They were very laid back, quite a bit different from some of the corporate clients I had. And Joan was one of the students who wanted to make a positive contribution to people's health and well-being. The students there came from all walks of life. Some were young, just starting out. Some were older and hoping to make a transition from a career that they found no longer satisfying or in which they'd burned out. Or some were women who had raised their families and now wanted to have a career of their own. Besides wanting to make a positive contribution to people, these students had other things in common. They were at the school because they enjoyed doing massage. They wanted to do it professionally. They wanted to make a good living. They wanted to be successful, so they were doing the coursework necessary to be professionals. It was their heart's desire that they were following and a goal that they were working toward. The owners of the school had designed a thorough program to provide the students with the technical knowledge and skill and the practice that they needed to be really good at therapeutic massage. But the owners realized that the students wouldn't be successful as much as they wanted to be without having additional training on how to deal with the mental, emotional, and spiritual aspects of money and success, and how to manage their minds for success. The owners had come to understand the importance of these things through working with me as a coach and practitioner, and so they asked me to create classes as electives for their students to assist them with those skills. So Joan enrolled in my Money and Beliefs class, which is about the relationship between your mind and your wallet and your beliefs and your bottom line. It's a very interactive class, and in one of the sessions, exercises, Joan shared that she'd recently done a massage for a woman who was very wealthy. Joan said, after the massage, the woman gave me a tip that was larger than what I had charged for the massage. I immediately thought, wow, that's great. This will be an opportunity for me to talk about how we live in an abundant universe and how unexpected good can come to us and flow to us from many different sources in many different ways. And that the students' abundance was not limited by what they believed they could have or what they charged or what they expected as a tip. That greater abundance is always possible. But before I had a chance to say that, I heard Joan say, I gave the tip back to the woman because it was too much. I can't accept it. She seemed almost proud of saying that. And I noticed, I looked around and I noticed that a lot of the students in the class were open-eyed and open-mouthed, kind of surprised that she would have turned that tip away. Needless to say, her share led to a very lively discussion in the class about giving and receiving. Now, most students agreed that they were very good at giving, but not necessarily so good at receiving. Many said they gave to a fault, not taking care of themselves. They talked about giving to others and taking care of themselves, but putting themselves and their needs aside. Anybody here know that feeling of not balanced? It's important to be balanced in giving and receiving. We often tend to be better at one than the other. And most of us have heard the biblical saying that it's better to give than to receive. But my question is, if it's better for everybody to be giving, Who's receiving? So one thing I know, it's impossible to give unless there's someone willing to receive. Catherine Ponder says giving is only one half of the law of increase. Receiving is the other half. I told Joan in that class that without giving and without being willing to receive, it's like trying to breathe in without breathing out. There's a divine circuit of giving. There's a divine law that sustains all life. It's a flow. It's an abundant balance. And it is a balance. All of us are in this room this morning. It's a wonderful room full of people. The room is filled with an abundance of air, enough to sustain each one of us and many more. None of us have to sit here and be concerned about limiting how much air that we take. We don't have to think, oh, I better make sure there's enough air for everyone, so I better take a little bit less. No, we take this for granted. We know that this room and every room is filled with an abundance of what we need to breathe and to be maintained, and that there's enough for us and everyone. In fact, it seems odd that we'd even think about trying to limit our breath, that we might be impinging on somebody else's good by taking our breath. We live in a truly abundant universe, and accepting your good does not take away from anyone else's good. So back to Joan. The very wealthy woman had received a wonderful massage from her. The woman was so pleased that she wanted to bless Joan with the gift of an extra tip. She was giving from her heart, not from a place of having to. It was a pleasure to her to give. And I imagine it was frustrating to her when Joan turned away the tip. I asked Joan, you wanted to give the woman a good massage, and she said yes. I said, imagine what it would be like if you had come up to the table and instead of being open and willing and ready to receive, the woman had been very tight and not being willing to receive the massage that you wanted to give. If she'd been like stiff as a board, you wouldn't be able to give her a massage, much less give her a great massage. And that's what it felt like, I imagine, for the woman who was trying to give to Joan, that she was giving to someone who was tight like that. Joan was at the school with one goal in mind. She was training for a career and wanting to make a living out of it. On the other hand, she had a desire for personal and professional success. But on the other hand, she was actively turning away her good. If she continued to turn away the good that was coming to her, she would not be successful in fulfilling her heart's desire to do that work. So what made Joan turn away that generous tip? To refuse the good that was flowing to her. It had to do with her thoughts and her beliefs. Her thoughts and beliefs about herself, about giving and receiving, about money, about the nature of the universe, and likely about many other things as well. All of us have thoughts and beliefs that impact us when we are facing a situation, and they trigger the feelings that we have. If they bring up feelings, and as a result, we take some kind of action out of that. So here's how it works. A situation comes up in our life. With Joan, the situation was somebody gave her more money than she was willing to accept. Getting a big tip is a neutral event. But she saw it through the constellation of her ideas and beliefs and thought that a generous tip was something she couldn't have or shouldn't have. When Joan told about getting the big tip, I was very excited because I was happy for her. But she believed it was a bad thing, and her beliefs triggered emotions that were uncomfortable and upsetting for her, so she took action to refuse the tip. As you listen to this story, you are hearing it through the constellation of your ideas and beliefs, and you may be having an emotional reaction to it based on your beliefs, so just notice your internal conversation. I want to make it clear there's nothing right or wrong about what Joan did, that it's not about judgment, it's not about labeling what she did as right or wrong. It's simply about the thoughts and beliefs that she had and understanding the role that your thoughts and beliefs have in receiving your good or turning it away. I encourage you not to think of limiting beliefs in terms of blame or shame, but as being glitches in your mental software. They're simply find them, eliminate them, and release them. So what are beliefs? The dictionary says beliefs are a state or a habit of mind in which trust or confidence is placed in a person or thing. So beliefs are simply habits of mind. Beliefs we have accepted as true. At the time of Christopher Columbus, everybody believed the world was flat. Most everybody believed that at the time and agreed with it, but just because they agreed with it didn't mean it was true. And just because other people share your beliefs doesn't mean that they're true. It doesn't make them anything more than just beliefs. Most of our beliefs are unconscious about everything, about ourselves, and particularly about money, but our beliefs seem like reality to us. Your beliefs are mental habits that run your behavior, whether you're conscious of them or not. It's like your mind is the hardware of your computer, mental computer, and your beliefs are the software of your mind. They really run the system. So, as you know from running your own computers, if the same is true for the software, some software is better than others, and it's important to update often. So beliefs are not right or wrong. I like to think of them as either productive or unproductive. In other words, if they're productive, if they're producing the results you want, and unproductive if they're producing the results you don't want. There are no two people have the same set of ideas and beliefs. Every person has a unique set of ideas and beliefs, including beliefs that conflict with each other, and that's where it can get really interesting. If you've ever been in a relationship, you know that you're guaranteed to be in the relationship with someone who has some different beliefs than you do, and that beliefs don't necessarily make sense. So Joan had conflicting beliefs which were counterproductive. And no matter what your beliefs are, it's important to bring them into conscious awareness and examine them and make any appropriate changes to them. How many of you have seen the bumper sticker that says, "Don't believe everything you think"? I think it's a great idea and really important. So where do we get our beliefs? They come from all around us. They come from the culture we live in, the media, education. All of those are big contributors to our beliefs and ideas. But we can't talk about major contributions to our beliefs without mentioning our parents. We often learn the facts of life from our parents, the facts of life of giving and receiving, and about everything. And my teacher, who was Dr. Carlton Whitehead, used to say that you're not responsible for the ideas and beliefs that your parents gave you until you realize you have them. And from that point on, you're choosing whether to keep them or not. In the years of teaching, I've found that many people don't realize they actually have beliefs or how many they have. They don't understand that their beliefs are unconscious and impacting their life 24 hours a day, every day of your life in very tangible ways. And there's also, besides the physical laws, there's also spiritual ways in which they impact us. So how do you discover your beliefs? You pay attention to what you're thinking. That helps a lot. Or you can do journaling. It can be kind of challenging to dig out the beliefs on your own because there's so much a part of you that they're difficult to know. It's kind of like fish in water. That means you may need some professional assistance to help dig them out and shift them, and that's part of the work that I do with individuals. But there's many classes here that help you discover, at this community, that help you discover ways to shift your beliefs, to discover your beliefs, and also spiritual mind treatment, which is very effective to do that. So if you've ever taken classes here, if you've ever taken classes here, you're likely to know the spiritual power of your ideas and beliefs. They're, as I say, at work constantly for you. There's a relationship between your ideas and beliefs and your feelings and your actions. That is what you do or you don't do. And as religious scientists, we certainly know the power of beliefs. They are co-creating with us 24 hours a day the experience we are having now and will be having in the future. Ernest Holmes says, all thoughts are creative according to our nature, impulse, emotion, and conviction behind the thought. He also says we are always getting what we believe, but not always what we want. Our thought has the power to reach in the outer form of conditions, an outer exact correspondence to our inner convictions. We live in an abundant universe of infinite possibilities, and we are free to choose how we want to interact with it. We're free to have a choice of how much abundance we are willing to receive. I like the image of a huge waterfall, which is like infinite abundance of the universe, never-ending flow. And if you go to a waterfall with a barrel, that's how much water you'll receive and take away. And if you go with a thimble, then that's how much water you will take as you have received it. The flow of the waterfall is not impacted by what we bring to it. It's not impacted or concerned about what we take or diminished by the amount we take. There's always more. Our thoughts and beliefs are very much like the containers we bring into the flow of universal abundance. It's our thoughts and beliefs. And if our thoughts and beliefs are ones of limitation, it can be like taking a thimble to a waterfall or taking no container at all. Joan took a thimble to the waterfall. She was willing to accept payment for the massage, but she was unwilling to accept anything other than that, except perhaps a very small tip, because she had a limited container of ideas and beliefs about accepting the abundance of good that was flowing into her life. And it's unlikely that her limiting beliefs were just showing up in refusing tips, because the way we do anything is the way we do everything, and it's amazing how our beliefs show up. So again, it's not about judgment, it's about cause and effect and just knowing how the universe works, because the more we know about how the universe works, the more we can work with it instead of being at effect of it. In my favorite book, which is Creative Mind and Success by Holmes, he says at all times we are all drawing things to us. We are either drawing things to us or we are pushing them away. We're either drawing things to us or we're pushing them away. In the ordinary individual, this process goes on without his ever knowing it consciously, but ignorance of the law will excuse no one from its effects. Now for the second story. After my money presentation at Asilomar, Barbara came up to me and asked if I would do a private session with her. She said, "You may be surprised because my issue is too much money." When we sat down, she talked about how after years of struggling, she and her husband had built a solid business doing government contract work. And although they were now what she called wildly successful, they had continued to live modestly and frugally. She said, "Our friends have no idea that we have over $1 million just sitting there, and that they just received another $200,000 from an estate of one of her husband's relatives." She said, despite that fact, she said, "I know I could quit work and take it easy and do creative projects, and I would love to do that, but I just can't bring myself to do it." Barbara also added that she had a fear that one or both of her, either she or her husband, would die before we could spend the money that they'd made. She said that fear was amplified when a friend of her mother's, a mother of one of her friends suddenly passed away. And that mother was only about 7 years older than Barbara. So it really gave her pause. She described growing up in her childhood in a family that was very poor. She said that in the early years of our 35-year marriage, we relied totally on food stamps. And she said, "I literally had holes in my shoes. At one time, we had $1.27 to live off for a week, and we survived on potato pancakes. Barbara and her husband had made a lot of money with prudence and planning, but it was hard now for Barbara to harvest and consume what they had accumulated. She'd done creative fiber works and projects for years and wanted to do more of that and to do more creative things. But when she thinks of doing those things, she hears the voice of her father. When she was growing up and wanted to do fiber things with wool yarn, her father said, "We don't do those kind of things," and told her if she wanted to get yarn, it had to be acrylic, not wool. So she didn't want to do that anymore. Her yearning, her heart's desire was to become more free about how she spends the money and to be able to spend on herself without feeling guilty. But she was having trouble getting her father's voice and his messages, his ideas and beliefs out of her head. Barbara also mentioned a belief that I often hear, that money is somehow dirty or filthy or evil. Now, that there's something wrong with money and wrong with having it. By the way, the biblical quote that people often quote is that money is the root of all evil. But the actual quote is, the love of money is the root of all evil, which makes a big difference. Barbara spoke of another reason of being hesitant and actually afraid to start spending the money and doing the things she wanted. She would worry that she would lose friends and family if they knew she and her husband were so well off. Many of their friends were of modest means, and so Barbara was also worried that those friends would be jealous. So what did Joan and Barbara have in common? They both had a goal and a desire to be financially successful. They both experienced the flow of abundance in their life, although they reacted differently to that flow. They both had beliefs and ideas that were triggering their emotions and causing them to turn away their good. I promised I'd let you in on the two biggest barriers to receiving your good. Both are barriers about belief. Joan and Barbara shared the first barrier, which I call the deservability barrier. Joan and Barbara both had things they definitely wanted, but found it hard to believe that they deserved the things they wanted. Hard to believe that it actually would be okay to have the things they wanted. Their beliefs and ideas about deserving got in the way of receiving and expecting their good and enjoying it. There's a push-pull that they have between what they want and what they allow themselves to have. The bottom line is that they are both actively turning away their good, although they are doing it in very different ways. The deservability barrier is very common and creates all kinds of challenges in many people's lives. I'd ask each of you to take a moment to think about one of your heart's desires, and then ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, how deserving do I believe I am to have what I want? The second biggest barrier to receiving your good is the possibility barrier. It's also very common. If you do not believe that what you want is possible, it's not likely to happen. If you do not believe what you want is possible, you will not take the actions necessary to make it happen. To illustrate this, I want to tell you a quick story from when I was graduating from ministerial school. At the time, the National Religious Science Organization had strict rules saying that graduating ministers had to have their own church and be doing regular Sunday services in order to be licensed. I didn't want a church. I didn't want a pulpit ministry. My heart's desire was taking this teaching out into the world in different ways than traditional churches were doing. I was more interested in teaching than preaching. I had a special interest in bringing spirituality and work and business together, something no one else was talking about at that time. So after my graduation, I said to my teacher, Dr. Whitehead, I will never be able to be licensed because the organization won't let me do the ministry I want to do in the way I want to do it. He listened. He hesitated for a moment. He looked me straight in the eye and he said, so make a proposal. I was stunned. That boggled my mind. I knew the international organization had pretty strict rules. I didn't like them, but the idea had never crossed my mind that they might be changed to allow me to do what I wanted to do. Until then, I had totally ruled out the possibility of ever being able to do my vision of ministry. On the possibility scale, I was actually at 0. Dr. Whitehead's 4 simple words, make a proposal, altered my life. His words had additional weight since he had served as the president of this organization several different terms. So I knew there was weight behind what he was saying. I immediately shifted from believing that what I wanted to do was impossible to believing that what I wanted to do might actually be possible. He opened my mind, and of course the route to actually fulfilling this possibility has been very long and circuitous and challenging. It's had many turns and twists, but here I am. Without his 4 words, make a proposal, I would have continued to believe that what I wanted was impossible and would have given up on the idea instead of fully opening up to the possibility, keeping my dream alive and taking one step at a time. So I'd ask each of you to think once more about your heart's desire, and then ask yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10, how possible do I believe it is that I can have the thing I want? My deep desire for each of you is to be free of any obstacles, any unproductive ideas and beliefs, free of anything that might be in the way of accepting your good, of having those things which make life worthwhile here on earth. It's also my deep desire for each of you to be free of any obstacles that might be in the way of sharing more of your magnificence with the world. In this light, if you find yourself closer to 0 than to 10 on either the deservability barrier or the possibility scale, ask yourself this question. What would it take to change my mind? What would it take to change my mind and believe that I deserve my heart's desire? What would it take to change my mind to believe that what I want is possible? And whatever it is that it would take, I invite you to do it. Keeping in mind that the creativity of Spirit is infinite. Spirit is always creating new thoughts, situations, and its creativity is not bound by anything that has come before. I would invite you after the service, perhaps at the picnic, to share with one other person what it is you're planning to do to step forward in a new way. And I'd like for you to keep me posted. So for the inner work today, I'd like to do something different. I want to read a piece that Dr. Whitehead wrote many years ago for Creative Thought magazine. It's titled, I'm Free. The infinite Spirit created me out of itself and left me free to discover itself in me as what I truly am. There is nothing in the universe to bind me. I am free to create in my life what I choose to create. I am free to draw upon the limitless storehouse of good. I am free to love. I am free to tap the wisdom and intelligence of mind. I am free to change my beliefs in accord with this wisdom and intelligence. I am bound in only one way, to experience the outpicturing of my beliefs by the law of mind, which itself is the law of liberty. Knowing this, I release from my consciousness, every level of my consciousness, any and all beliefs unlike what I truly am. Feelings of inadequacy, fear, and anxiety are gone. They are merely reactions to the old beliefs that I am separated from my good. I release all guilt over past mistakes, results from misconceptions of myself and life. I accept others in the same light as I accept myself. Goodwill radiates to all unconditionally. I thus free all relationships to unfold naturally and harmoniously. I rejoice in my freedom to live and let live. Recognizing the truth of these words, we rejoice in the understanding there is nothing in the universe to bind you. You're free to travel joyously on your life's journey. The universe is set up to support you. I now affirm that you are receptive and open to that support, guided by infinite intelligence and moving forward with peace, ease, and prosperity. We give thanks and look forward to wonderful reports and delightful surprises. And so it is.
Thank you. Sun is setting low in a violet sky, out beyond the ridge top. See the purple bloom by the side of the road, wrapped in shades of green. Hear the waters fall in a gentle prayer to the valley from the ridge top. Feel her tenderness as she calls your name, wrapped in shades of green. Dreamed so long of this moment when the door would open onto visions of beauty wrapped in shades of green, wrapped in shades of green. Dreamed so long of this moment when the door would open onto visions of beauty wrapped in shades of green, wrapped in shades of green. And if there is a God,
I believe today, out beyond the ridge top, for the sun is warm all upon the earth, wrapped in shades of green. Dreamed so long of this moment when the door would open onto visions of beauty, wrapped in shades of green, wrapped in shades of green, wrapped in shades of green. Shades of green, shades of green, shades of green, shades of green. Thank you.
And now I'd like to call the ushers forward. And while they're coming up here, I just want to remind you that during this year, we are going through this Celtic cross, this circular time of a year with lessons. And each month we've picked a theme, and each week there's a specific word. And I loved what Sarah said about, software upgrades. Coming every Sunday, that's like getting a little automatic software upgrade that you didn't even have to think about, just being here. And today we got the software upgrade on the word receive. And that receiving has to be balanced with giving. Because if there is no one to give, then there is no one to receive. And if there is no one to receive, there's no way of giving. And so as we join our time here together, as we go to that time of giving to the Golden Gate Center and beyond, so that our work here in the world can be done, remember that this is priming the pump so that you too can receive. And so I'd like you to take your gift in your hand and put it up to your chest and think about, what was it that you had in your heart in that moment when Sarah asked you to think? And was it a 10, or perhaps was it only a 2? And if it's a 2, maybe you need to have more than an automatic software upgrade. Maybe you need to go over here to it's not the Apple store or the Microsoft store, but we have our own education store over here, and pick out a class that would give you that software upgrade. And so as you give this gift here, think about what it is you want to receive and what it is you want to give. And so I now invite the ushers to receive the gifts. as we go deep within our heart.
So we have a new chant this morning. It's called All That I Seek, I Am.
I am that I am that I am. I am that I am that I am. I am that I am that I am. I am that I am that I am. And all that I wish for, and all that I dream of, and all that I seek, I am. All that I wish for, and all that I dream of, and all that I seek, I am. I am that I am that 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 I am. And all that I wish for, all that I dream of, and all that I seek, I am. All that I wish for, and all that I dream of, and all that I seek, I am.
Let's sing that again.
All that I wish for, and all that I dream of, and all that I seek, I am. Yes, all that I wish for, and all that I dream of, and all that I seek, I am. And all that I seek, I am. All that I seek, I am.
And now as we get last little bits of abundance and receiving, we just bless these gifts, knowing that they are pressed down and overflowing, going out into the world, allowing each and every person to be that I am, living in life one step at a time, enjoying the future. I bless this, I give this, and I am open to receiving. And so it is. And so it has come to that time of our service when we close. And so I invite the practitioners to come forward. These are wonderful trained beings who have gone through years of study in the art of being able to pray with you, to determine what those hidden beliefs are. These ones here today are here to volunteer their time, so please do not leave this room with anything heavy on your heart. Go back to the back and get a prayer from one of these practitioners. And now, as community, we will pray together, so get yourself in that position, whether that be with eyes closed or eyes open, feet flat or feet crossed. Whatever it is that brings you into that place of centeredness, so that we take this moment here together to once again remember that this is the infinite moment of God. That right here, right now, God is present. God is in my life today, working through me, as me, rippling out into the world, allowing a future to unfold that has not yet come. And so I just give great thanks for this service today, knowing that it has inspired and that there is a new idea, a new way of looking at something, and that all that there is to do next is to take that next step. And so as we go out into the world today, ready to receive, no longer blocking our good, remember that all that there is present comes from that one infinite source of all good, that divine presence that lives within and without, that lives in community, shares in community, and loves in community. And so I just give great thanks for this time together, knowing it has healed and revealed, and I let it be, and so it is. And now for our closing affirmation. As you can see, there's no PowerPoint today, so you're just going to need to follow after me. If you will all please stand and repeat after me. I live in the endless flow of the universal abundance. I open to my heart's desire. I gratefully receive my good, knowing that in spirit, all things are possible.